Hello, my name is Christopher Lara, and I will be doing the business and technology video essay. Here, what I have on my screen is the outline. I will be following you guys through this. And for the introduction is define business rhetorics and explain how they connect with technology and surveillance. What is business rhetorics? It is any type of persuasion technique. Really, it's more of it could be for marketing, um, just conversational as well. It connects with technology through the way of business using language and communication strategies to promote and sell products of service in digital landscape. The main three that they use is ethos, pathos, and logos or logos. Surveillance. How it connects with surveillance. It ties to power and the control of information, in addition to how surveillance operates as an important tool for reconstructing relationships between people, space, institutions, public and urban development. And down here is my source where I have it from. Um, Tells me to present a clear argument how I would say um, how business use strategies to influence technology surveillance in technical communications. Specifically bias and ethical concerns. My main big three that I chose were social media, algorithm, data privacy, and AI recruitment tools. Those are the biggest concerns and biased uh, unbiased opinion as well. Social media, because social media can influence people based on what is say them making the beauty, like an example would be the beauty standard. What would be considered beautiful, what would be considered not, what is considered cool, what is considered lame. As for algorithm, it is a bit skeptical because I myself be scrolling off TikTok, and although for me was I used to have TikTok before I joined the military, and I have it now after. The biggest thing for me was what scared me with the algorithm was that I never posted anything publicly or open publicly that I was part of the military. And the moment that I got back and I came back home, I noticed lots of military reference were popping up in my algorithm, which was very skeptical for me because I was just like, how would they know this? I've never really been open about it, you know. And that also includes with data privacy usage. Like, how did the algorithm manage to get or knowing what I like and what I don't like? And for AI recruitment is a big thing nowadays, especially when people are trying to get jobs. It is very difficult because it is now through a filter system of an AI component, no longer by humans. Therefore, AI would fulfill and or filter us through certain criteria or requirements versus based off just how we are as a person. And down here, obviously, the link to all the sources that I used. And business and technology integration. Analyze how business use DIS to optimize processes and its vertical role in convincing stakeholders of its importance. How can a stakeholder engagement can help empower people? It can get stakeholders to involve the decision-making process and create sustainable change. Engaging stakeholders to help inform decisions and provide support you need for long-term sustainability. Basically saying that, and by empowering people by being a what do we call these, like an influencer or someone to sponsor a certain company that the influencer has a stakehold of, therefore getting more sales, being more out open to the public to get more sales, more recognition, being, rather than being a small company. Discuss the roles of VLIS in microprocessors development and how business promote the microelectronics as an asset. It allows for integration of millions of billions of transistors into one single chip, enabling creation of complex microprocessors with high processing power. An example would be a CPU from a PC, a laptop, or a monitor. Maybe even nowadays a smartphone nowadays. Um, but the processor is a very small compact size, is very small, and the best thing is cost effective. Basically, it's cheap to manufacture. It just has a lot of technology within it. Basically, it makes it, for modern microprocessors possible by allowing large numbers of circuits to be placed on a single chip, like a get, like a CPU or as a processor within a smartphone. Um, and promotes microelectronics by using targeted marketing strategies that highlight the advanced capabilities and applications of their chips, focusing on industry keys, utilizing industry publications, on conferences, building strong online presence through social media, emphasizing innovative research and development efforts, showcasing their cutting edge technology. Basically, as how Apple has theirs in Apple, like as a competition of Apple versus Samsung. Obviously, we all know what the controversy topic is about. Is Apple gonna out technology or outbeat Samsung, or Samsung gonna outbeat Apple? That's the biggest the two big main companies that are fighting over stuff like this. Surveillance and business ethics. We use panopterons to discuss modern surveillance methods in business, from employee monitoring and data collection, analyze the ethical implications, gather large amounts of data through employees monitoring system, which can be analyzed to assess performance, identify potential issues, making decisions regardless of, employee retention, promotions, and disciplinary action. Ethical and privacy invasion, power imbalance, and abuse of power. Basically, how do people use this? You know, the methods are computer, emails, phone monitoring, internet tracking, social media monitoring, GPS tracking. Basically, how they manage to track their employees and to see what if they're good employee, or if they, I wouldn't say necessarily bad employees, but employees that are not meeting their standard. How do businesses use surveillance to enhance productivity, safety, and ethical debates surrounding these practices? I would say by surveillance of workflow, ensuring employees are following proper protocol, enhancing safety from theft, vandalism, and other security threats, and allowed to make a quick response to incidents and providing evidence for investigation if it's needed. What are the bias and ethical concerns in hiring decision making? I would say it's AI. It confirms bias that often leads to bad decision making. Like I said, it may ignore warning signs that may not be there. Um, like saying if we set on a job, getting a job with a particular company, we may not consider opportunities that may be better suited for us. Specifically with AI recruitment, it can eliminate potential recruits by criminal background checks and prejudice, race, and discrimination. More of this sources could be down in this link down here below. Compare the impact of these bias on AI resume screening and working diversity. Uh, like I said, because of the algorithm, it is unfair to favor certain demographics, like AI, and most companies prefer to have a white male leading, because they are not my words, but because they are more qualified than another minority. But doing so, it raises the question of inequality and prevent organization from building diverse workforces. It makes them look, basically in short term, it makes them look bad, but it's not really them that, like, they're purposely. It's just how their recruiting system is processing people to work there. Grant writing versus sponsorship packages. The grant writing was focused on social impact of a project. Is basically used to fund long-term programs and initiatives. Sponsorship package focused on providing marketing benefits to a company in exchange for funding, or if not for funding, it would be for gaining popularity, gaining sales, and gaining other companies to work with them. Meeting minute versus meeting agenda. What is the difference in the two? The agenda is a structure set for a meeting. That's what agenda is. Basically, a structure of how the meeting is going to be running for. Versus a minute, while minute meetings make a recap of what needs to be done, and how it's going to get done, how it's going to, basically, meeting minute is basically how every minute is spent track on how everything, like everything that they said within the meeting was tracked, how the problem came up, what they're going to do to solve the problem, and what is a given time to get the thing everything done. Another one is repair order versus service order. Now, this one's a lot tricky because a lot of people don't really know much about this. And although it sounds the same, it's completely different. A repair order contains basically they send a repair order. They go have an order in of a certain component. They themselves, that company would not fix it. They would send it to another company to fix it. That company would find another company to get the parts to fix the part. Then afterward, you're gonna send it back to the original company that first ordered it. Versus um, a service order, Jesus, does not involve a product item, but rather service provide an individual organization, helps business communicate by acknowledging what function and what doesn't do by is what doesn't work and what basically so there's some incidents that using broken equipment. That's basically service order. Service order basically saying like, hey, this thing was working last week or a couple of days ago. Now it's not working. It needs to get fixed. Doing so, it communicates throughout the whole environment and the whole business, saying that so that no one by accident uses a broken equipment and eventually could lead to fatal or hazardous injuries to people. What is the psychological theories and business practices? Classical conditioning versus operant conditioning. Classical conditioning is business and focusing on creating positive associates between a brand or product and desire feeling through repeated pairing, while operant is use rewarding and punishments to actively shape desired behaviors and employees or customers, essentially reinforcing actions with positive consequences to encourage repetition. Basically, operant condition. Basically, you have a condition that as long as you do what you're doing, what you do is right, you won't get in trouble. And you will be getting like awards or getting recognition that you're doing something right. Next one, social psychology experiments that the Ash Milgram and the Zimbardo. The Ash conformity study basically the Ash conformity study, Milgram's obedience experiment, and Zimbardo Stanford prison experiment. In summary, understand that a social psychology concept highlights by asset is for cruel for business leaders to identify and address potential pitfalls in group decision making, ensuring the decisions are made based on merit and critical analysis rather than solely on conformity and authority or group pressure. Ethical ethical concerns in AI and technology. The primary ethic issue surrounding AI in recruitment is decision making for potential for bias and discrimination, which leads to bias amplifications, absence of human judgment, and privacy concerns, mostly criminal records. Basically, it's saying that when it comes to AI, they firstly ask for background record, or basically, and a person who obviously done time or done something bad wouldn't be willingly to give that to someone, especially when it comes to a job. Some jobs, not most jobs, don't require a criminal record or background check, and most people, when it comes to background checks, although it is like I understand why business do it. However, it could basically quickly eliminate them based off a bad record they had in their past. And with AI, it eliminates a lot of people in the process. And sadly, as I said, most of those people who have criminal records maybe are the best ones out there to know how to do your job. They're just trying to get back at life. Surveillance and user experience. Basically, how business balance surveillance and practices was user-centered design, ethical concern, and technical. Striking a balance between surveillance and user experience requires a commitment to transparency, user control, ethical data practices, ensuring that technical communications explain how the data is handled while prioritizing their users' privacy and trust within the business. That's one of the best ways to go with it because most people wouldn't trust their company with certain sensitive data. And if they're being very transparent about it. They are, they build trust within themselves and within the company and within the people they work for, which makes a healthy business, a healthy work environment. 508 and 504 compliance. Basically, where businesses should prioritize accessibility in the communication by adhering to 508 and 504 compliance standards to uphold ethical practices, avoiding legal issues, and creating a more inclusive customer experience for individuals, including those with disabilities. Basically, people who have disabilities or have some sort of legal issues, there wouldn't be nothing much there to hold them back or for a company to fire them or make them lose their job or make them inferior to other people because of a certain disability, legal issues, or whatever they have going on. Um, my recap of the key connection between business rhetorics, technology, and surveillance. I would say that it is a it is tricky, knowing that we're moving up to technology with the world, but I believe we can make things work if we manage to use it on the right way. My question for the rest of it is that this is towards the future generation. What are some practices that you were able to achieve that we weren't able to do? Thank you very much.